If you're an entrepreneur, a professional, and you're struggling with anxiety, go to the description below and book that call. On that call, it's going to be a free coaching call discussing all your problems, your issues relating to anxiety. And I'll help you crush that problem and get to a solution so you can get over this once and for all. In this video, I'll be talking about anxiety and how to overcome it, understanding it and how to overcome it. So you gotta understand, anxiety is fear of something, uneasiness, that sick feeling, uncomfortable feeling that you have, and many people suffer from it. Many entrepreneurs, professionals suffer from it, but they don't know how to deal with it. And that's one thing I'm gonna deconstruct to you today. So stick around to the end and you'll know how to overcome this. So the first thing is, you need to understand, where is it coming from? Where is this anxiety coming from? Is it from a certain situation, a certain place, a certain person? Who is it coming from? Isolate that issue to the smallest you can get it. Get to the root of the problem and understand the core and the source of this problem. So that could be a person, whatever it is, whatever it may be. And then what you do is you understand or try and think about, what are the thoughts that you get that are associated with that thing? What are the thoughts, what are the negative thoughts that you experience? Think about it. And this will be something that you need to really sit down and think about. Sit down, you can sit down with someone else to help you talk through it, to help you think about it on a deeper level, or you can write it down on a piece of paper, write down your thoughts, just empty your brain out. What you call a brain dump, yeah? Do that and get to the bottom of it. Understand, okay, what is the crux of this issue? What am I doing, or what am I thinking and experiencing that's causing me this anxiety? Yeah? And then you've got the thoughts, you've got the feelings, you've got the emotions, you've understood, okay, this is the problem, got it written down, whatever, yeah? Then what you do is look at the thoughts, analyze the thoughts, and really think about, okay, is it something I can really do something about? Like, for example, if it's a certain person or certain situation, I can avoid it. Or is it something that I need to work on myself, and something I need to work on my mind and my brain to become more aware of, and just ignore these thoughts? Because, you know, you've got to imagine your brain as, imagine your thoughts as a flowing stream or flowing river, yeah? And you're there and you're trying to catch something, whatever it is, and these thoughts are passing by, these thoughts, and they're all a mixture of good thoughts, bad thoughts, negative, positive, whatever, anything, neutral. They're all a mixture of thoughts. But you are the one that takes these thoughts and takes them as your identity. Does that make sense? You are the one that takes these thoughts. That, for example, if I say, I did well in that test, or I did well in that piece of work I had to submit, or I treated him fairly, yeah? Or I didn't treat him fairly, or I should have done better. These are all thoughts that you get, and what our brains do, or what we do, is we pick out these thoughts and we say, okay, I agree with this, I agree with this. And sometimes what happens when you're anxious and you're suffering with anxiety, you take on all these extra negative thoughts, these negative thoughts that clog your mind and make you feel this uneasiness, this sickness. And what you do is you just gather all the negative thoughts, and that's what's going on in your head, and that's what you need to get to the bottom of. And that's what I would say the main thing is for anxiety, many of these mental problems, is understanding how your brain works and understanding how to have control over your thoughts, control over your mind, what your mind thinks, your perceptions, your thoughts and emotions, having control, not just like a leaf, wherever you go. Does that make sense? Have that grip on your mind that, this thoughts come in and I'm not going to agree with it. This thought that he's an evil person, or I don't like my manager, or whatever it may be, you consciously accept it, as in you consciously like acknowledge it. Okay, it's in my head, that thought is in my head, but then you decide, you make that conscious decision. You don't go into autopilot and be like, okay, yeah, he's like that. You make that decision and you assess, and then you consciously make that decision to say, okay, no, he's not, he's like this. Because in that moment your mind is conscious, your mind is aware of what's going on, your mind is absorbing and processing and trying to understand what's going on in the brain, all these thoughts. So when you make that decision and say, okay, I'm going to not have this thought, I will not agree with this because this is not true, I am good at my job, I'm not going to lose this job, I'm not going to fail at this work, for example, then you regain that power over your mind. And that's what it's all about. Because once you regain that power, once you regain that control over your mind, you are able to do anything you want. You're able to do anything you want. You are the master of your own mind. Does that make sense? Because you can effectively control what is accepted as part of your identity and what is not accepted, what is thrown to the side. Because you become in control. This applies to many other things, many addictions, many other issues that people go through. Addictions, or for example, you're struggling with sugar addiction or any kind of addiction, and you see the cupcake, but you make that conscious decision to say, no, this is bad for me. Instead of going into autopilot and just taking a bite and then realizing after. That's what a lot of people go through. Many people are not conscious of their day-to-day life, day-to-day activities and actions, and they make the wrong mistakes, they make the wrong actions, they do the wrong actions, and they make mistakes as a result of that, because they are not in control, they are not conscious of what they're doing. Does that make sense? So you need to have that consciousness. You need to be aware that these are the thoughts I'm having, these are the thoughts I want to accept, these are the thoughts that I don't want to accept and I want to reject, because these are false, these are true. And consciousness as a whole, consciousness of the mind, needs another whole video because it's such a big topic. So I'll cover that in the next video. So then you know how consciousness actually works in deeper detail, and how you can really overcome that. But yeah, I've given you an overview of your anxiety and how you can, what sort of mindset to be in reading. And there's a quote by a famous person, I forgot his name, but it goes along the lines of, if you don't control your mind, then it will control you. And I leave you on that, and I'll remind you again, if you are struggling with this, anything to do with anxiety, mental health, productivity or procrastination, then click the link below. It's a free call. I won't be pitching you any services, any coaching. It's just free coaching, just for you, helping you overcome your problem. And meet me there. Alright, see you next time.